Hey, welcome in. Monday edition, Bruce Hooley Show. Ready to get started? Band playing, so here we go. If the upcoming election were a horse race, I think we'd be on the backstretch entering the far turn. We have 15 days before we pick a new president and we pick a new senator from the state of Ohio, Supreme Court justices, and other important issues. Many areas have school levies or police and fire levies on the ballot. Where do we stand as we are on the eve of the Battleground Talkers Tour tomorrow night at Genoa Christian Fellowship, hosted by 989 The Answer? We're looking forward to seeing you there. If you don't have tickets, get them at 989theanswer.com. Just $5 general admission. We have plenty of room for people, even though we have about 700 in the building right now. Okay, let's start with the great news. Thought I'm going to go presidential election, didn't you? Nope. I'm going Ohio Senate election. Bernie Moreno in the Real Clear Politics. Average of all polls. Bernie Moreno is 0.6 behind Sherrod Brown. 0.6. Sherrod Brown at one point had an 11-point lead on Bernie Moreno. When it counts for Bernie Moreno closing the gap, you can say, oh, well, he's riding Donald Trump's coattails. And definitely, Bernie Moreno is a Trump guy, and Trump supports Bernie Moreno. But Bernie Moreno has run a great campaign. And the best thing that he has done is tell everyone who Sherrod Brown is. And Sherrod Brown doesn't like that. He would love a fourth term in the Ohio Senate because it is a great grift. Most people don't envision working past age 71. But Sherrod, he just can't wait to add 6 more years to his work life because the Senate is a phenomenal grift. Does he need the money? No, of course not. His wife, Connie Schultz, used to be and maybe still is a high-end opinion columnist at the Cleveland Plain Dealer. I try not to go on their website because there's only so much poison I can ingest in my system and still live. But Sherrod Brown doesn't need the money. Sherrod Brown is doing this because Sherrod Brown needs the power. He needs the influence. And he wants to forestall America becoming what America was founded to be. And you can tell that Sherrod Brown is panicking because Sherrod Brown is now not just lying. He's always been a liar, talking about how he stands for the working man and he's not afraid to go against his party. That's a strange contention to make when you vote 98%, 98.5%. I don't want to cheat you, Sherrod. 98.5% of the time for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's policies. But now Sherrod Brown, who's had the good fortune throughout his too long Senate career to run against inferior Republican candidates or to run in years where the calendar just broke, because a third of the Senate is on the ballot every 2 years, but never really at a time where Republicans had the momentum. As Sherrod Brown had to run for re-election. He's run against Josh Mandel. He's run against Mike DeWine. He's run against Jim Renacci. Bernie Moreno's story is a much better story than those guys. Bernie Moreno was born in Colombia. Bernie Moreno moved with his family to America. Bernie Moreno built several businesses. Bernie Moreno is an entrepreneur, and Bernie Moreno has already pledged that he won't serve as long in the U.S. Senate as Sherrod Brown has already served. Bernie Moreno says he'll hopefully serve this term and 1 term of re-election, and then 12 years he's going back to Northeast Ohio or to Central Ohio, where he also has a home right now. And you will get to hear from Bernie tomorrow night at the Battleground Talkers Tour. But the polls have him within 0.6% of Sherrod Brown. And why is that? It's not just because of the familiar Sherrod Brown's been lying to you, manufacturing in Ohio is going away, jobs, immigration, all the familiar themes that most Senate candidates are hitting. Bernie Moreno has picked up on what Democrats decry as irrelevant to the election, right? How many times have you heard, oh, culture wars? Nobody cares about culture wars. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Well, you know what? People do care about culture wars because what do most of us care about the most? Our loved ones, our children, our grandchildren. We care about the culture we are going to leave them. And nothing demonstrates to a better degree how Republicans are on the right side of the culture wars than this whole lunacy of the Democratic Party hugging, embracing, endorsing the LGBTQ agenda. The T in LGBTQ, of course, stands for transgender. Those lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgender are not all compatible together, but they have all united under the same alphabet mafia umbrella in order to do what? Consolidate their power. Yeah, some of us over here who are gay or lesbian, we think the whole transgender thing is stupid, but I guess if you want to come and join our ranks and you can help us put more pressure on politicians, then we will embrace you. That's how it works. And so Sherrod Brown has embraced this. He's running from it. You'll see these ads on TV. Don't believe a word of them. I'll tell you why momentarily.
All of this was a lie, a complete lie. And Bernie Moreno knows it. The truth is, in Ohio, this has already been banned. And Sherrod Brown agrees with Governor DeWine. These decisions should be made by local sports leagues, not politicians.
We can verify the claim that Brown voted to let transgender biological men participate in women's sports is false.
I'm sure Brown and I approve this message.
Yeah, sure he approves that message because it's a 100% lie. Stephanie Haney, WKYC in Cleveland, you're welcome on the show anytime. I'll expose you for the lying hack you are. I don't know if you have daughters. If you do, I don't know how you face them. But did you notice how Sherrod Brown says, I've never voted. No, he co-sponsored legislation that would allow transgender. Sorry, again, I tell you all the time, the verbiage of the left creeps into all of our language from time to time. Sherrod Brown has voted in the past either against amendments that would preclude boys playing girls' sports or by sponsoring legislation that would extend protections in law, those given understandably to race and things like that. He would extend those protections to gender identity. He has co-sponsored that legislation, which would protect gender identity as a protected class. So you could not keep a boy out of a girl's locker room at a school. Yet Sherrod Brown says that this is already outlawed in Ohio law. Well, he's right about that. It is. No thanks to him. No thanks to any Democrat, and no thanks to the other person Sherrod Brown cites in that ad, Mike DeWine. You will recall when Gary Click, Jenna Powell led the fight in the Ohio legislature to get the SAFE Act enacted into law. It passed overwhelmingly with no Democrats supporting it. It passed overwhelmingly because we have supermajorities of Republicans in the Ohio House and Senate. And then Governor DeWine vetoed it. Governor DeWine vetoed it. Sherrod Brown agrees with Mike DeWine. Sure he does, because Mike DeWine wasn't going to extend those protections to our women and to our girls. Mike DeWine was just fine with men going into girls' spaces. He wanted to leave it to the sports leagues. Gee, what was the position of the sports leagues? The Ohio High School Athletic Association was just fine with biological boys playing girls' sports. They had a policy that they allowed it. What about the Big Ten, Bruce? Oh, the Big Ten where Ohio State plays, they allow it too. So Mike DeWine and Sherrod Brown saying it should be left to the sports leagues. Both of them know, if they spend a modicum of research, that it was going to be allowed by the sports leagues. That's another way of Sherrod Brown saying, I really agree with this. But, let's just go to the people who would have stood to benefit the most if Sherrod Brown got his way. Human Rights Campaign, Congressional Scorecard, 118th Congress. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Sherrod Brown's rating supporting the LGBTQ agenda, 100%. That's the latest edition of Congress. I thought I might be a little unfair to Sherrod when I found a press release from the Human Rights Campaign in 2017 saying this. Since entering public office more than 2 decades ago, 2 decades ago in 2017, about 4 decades ago, Senator Brown has stood shoulder to shoulder with our community, relentlessly championing justice, fairness, and equal rights for every American, which means LGBTQ Americans. Senator Brown has proved himself to be an effective legislator and one of our staunchest allies in the United States Senate. The Human Rights Campaign is proud to endorse Senator Brown in his bid for re-election, and we look forward to his continuing to work to pass the Equality Act. That's the one Sherrod Brown co-sponsored, which would have extended gender preferences as a protected class. That would have put a federal law would have put boys in your granddaughter's restroom, men in your wife's bathroom, and there wouldn't have been a single thing you could have done about it. Sherrod Brown co-sponsored it. He co-sponsored it. I railed against Matt Dolan, Republican Senate candidate, for co-sponsoring that in the Ohio State House. I rail against it for Sherrod Brown doing it. He has not changed his position. He is lying in his television commercials.
Sunshine, it'll be a warm afternoon. Our high today at 79. Clear tonight, low 47. Partly sunny, a warm day tomorrow, the high 81. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low 54. And then a mix of clouds and sun. Warm again on Wednesday, the high 77. A sunny, cooler day Thursday, the high at 62. Partly sunny Friday, high Friday afternoon at 73. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
ProView Remodeling, Ohio's #1 choice in sunroofs, windows, doors, decks, sidings, patios, porches, basements, and bathroom remodels. Call ProView Remodeling today and get 25% off or 60 months, 0 interest. That's right, 60 months, 0 interest. Call or text 7 days a week, 614-756-3140. You win with ProView Remodeling, 614-756-3140. Check us out at ProViewRemodeling.com.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing, if you join before October 30th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is October 30th. So call now, you'll save even more. Here's the number, 844-47-BIBLE. That's 844-47-BIBLE, 844-47-BIBLE.
The NLS Braille and Talking Book program gives patrons the freedom to read their way, listen to their stories.
When I lost my sight, the only thing I had was reading, and it was like therapy to me.
NLS has pretty much anything you possibly want to read. Just can't recommend it enough. It's a free service. It's amazing how much you can get.
I have used every means there is, I think, of getting access to National Library Service books.
If you want to read in electronic braille, you can. If you want to read on your phone, you can. If you want to read in HeartPrint, you can.
Everybody can read the way they want to read using this program, and it's a program worth looking into.
For more information about the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped Library of Congress, visit loc.gov/thatallmayread or call 1-888-NLS-READ.
The Mid-Ohio Food Collective provides nutritious, healthy food to more than 500,000 of our hungry neighbors in central and eastern Ohio. They stock pantries and markets with fresh produce and non-perishable food. The food goes to soup kitchens and emergency shelters. They feed preschool children and students on summer break. They supply food to seniors without transportation. It's enough food for 193,000 meals every single day. Food is health. Fresh food can lead to thriving lives. You can help through the Mid-Ohio Food Collective. Visit MOFC.org and learn how you, your family, your church, and your workplace can make a difference. That's MOFC.org for the Mid-Ohio Food Collective. Let's make sure our neighbors get the meals they deserve. Support the Mid-Ohio Food Collective. That's MOFC.org.
So I mentioned it in segment 1. I'm going to mention it a lot because I really want to pack the house tomorrow night at Genoa for our Battleground Talkers Tour. I will be on stage with Hugh Hewitt, Mike Gallagher, our own Jack Windsor. Who are the other politicians? You've been teasing me, Bruce. I really want to know who's going to be there if I'm going to buy a $5 general admission ticket or a VIP ticket. Use the promo code Bruce25 if you would like to do that. What does the VIP ticket get you? Oh, it gets you food, it gets you preferred seating, and it gets you a meet and greet with the people who are going to speak. I digressed. I didn't tell you who was going to speak. Besides me, on stage will be U.S. Senate candidate Bernie Moreno, Ohio Auditor Keith Faber, Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost, Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose, and Sherrod Brown's willing to welcome to show up. I invited Sherrod this morning on social media. Maybe he will come and explain to us his radical agenda. I doubt it, but you're welcome. 989theanswer.com is where you get your tickets. 989theanswer.com. Now, the thing that scares me about the U.S. Senate election in the state of Ohio is that in previous elections, the last two where Donald Trump has won Ohio by 8 points, there are still a real troublesome number of people who cross over and vote for Democrats. This was the case when J.D. Vance won his Senate race against Tim Ryan 2 years ago. About 400,000 Ohioans voted for Mike DeWine for governor and then turned around and voted for Tim Ryan for Senate. So this is a problem, and Sherrod Brown has name recognition. He's been in Ohio politics forever. He's duped a lot of people into thinking that he's for them and that he helps the working man and all this, and he really has never, ever done anything for the state of Ohio. And he is, as I said before, perfectly aligned with the Pelosi, Schumer, Harris, Biden agenda, and he has been for a long, long time. The Human Rights Campaign is such a typical Democratic organization, right? Human rights. Who could be against human rights? Who could be against the Equality Act? I mean, you're not against human rights, are you? You're not against equality, are you? What are you, some kind of a bigot? So they name themselves these embraceable names, and then they go out and they try to cudgel you into complying with their radical agenda. The Human Rights Campaign is fully supportive of and is a front for the LGBTQ agenda. And they view Sherrod Brown and have viewed Sherrod Brown for a long time as one of their champions. Quoting right from their website, Sherrod Brown is a long-standing advocate for LGBTQ equality, scoring 100% on the Human Rights Campaign's congressional scorecard. This was in 2017. It says for the last 6 years running, Brown got a 100% rating on the latest Congress. So I would assume that now we are at about 14 years running for Sherrod Brown. Continuing, he is currently a co-sponsor of the Equality Act, crucial federal legislation that would finally guarantee explicit, permanent protections for LGBTQ people under our nation's existing civil rights laws. Okay, so now you're going, well, and I heard this from some people who I commiserate with who are not as confrontational as I am. I have a buddy at church who jokes, I think he's joking, that I have the gift of confrontation. Yes, I do. I do have the gift of confrontation because I am committed to truth. And I'm not saying he doesn't have a commitment to truth. I'm just saying that a lot of people are a lot more comfortable doing it. I actually think, I firmly believe God has given me this platform, and I pray every morning that I not say anything to disgrace the faith. So how can you say these things you say about the LGBTQ agenda? I'm saying it about the agenda, not about the person. And I'm saying it because it is possible, and this is an important distinction for you to know as a Christian, that it is possible to have empathy for someone who is trapped in the demonic LGBTQ lifestyle, but to not allow that empathy to lure you into error biblical error by saying, okay, well, that's just how God made you, or that's okay. No, it is not. God's word does not come back void. It is very clear in scripture in multiple places, Old and New Testament, how God views sexual morality. And so I have empathy for people who are trapped in this nonsense, people who are lured into it, people who believe. And this is where the church in America has really fallen down, in that they want to be welcoming and they want to be affirming. And we should be welcoming, but we should not affirm people in their sin. Because why? Because sin separates them from God. Sin requires not just remorse, sin requires repentance, which is changed behavior, okay? I hate to go like serious biblical on you, but for those of you who think, oh, you're not a loving person, you're not an empathetic person. I am an empathetic person. I want to pull you out of the empty, meaningless, destructive lifestyle you are in, so that you can experience what those of us, all of whom have sin in our life, a different sin maybe than sexual sin, but all of us have sin in our life. No sin has a higher grade on it or a lower grade on it, however you want to look at it. In God's eyes, all sin separates us from him. And so you've got to fix that, and you can't fix it. Only Jesus at the cross can fix that. And so when you tell me, wokesters, that I'm not empathetic, you're the one who is not empathetic, because you're going to let somebody continue to proceed in their sin that separates them from God. And you say, well, I don't believe in that. Well, great. You don't believe in gravity either. Jump off a 50-story building and see if it applies. So another verse in the Bible, to whom much has been given, much is expected. Much has been given to people who have a public platform like I do, like Sherrod Brown does. He has a bigger public platform. He has more influence, and he's using it to endorse demonic, destructive ideas. So is Kamala Harris. By now, you've probably heard she's at a rally last weekend. And I love how this is portrayed online, a heckler yells out loud, Jesus is Lord. And she goes, oh, you're at the wrong rally. You're at the wrong rally. Yet now she has their new Harris campaign approach is souls to the polls. She's appealing to supposed people of faith. She wants to get souls to the polls. Well, she left a word out of that. Lost souls to the polls. I'd believe it if they're going there to vote for her. But you cannot allow your empathy for people to draw you into error. Error how, Bruce? Error scientifically. There's no such thing as gender. You're born male or female, scientifically, biologically, biblically, morally. So yeah, why do they anger you so much? They don't apply to you. They don't apply to your daughters. They don't apply to anybody in your life. Why does it bother you so much? Because I don't like to see people suffer, and because we are commanded in the Great Commission to go and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey all that I, and this is Christ speaking, I have commanded you. That's the Great Commission. It's kind of important. It's the last thing he said before he ascended to heaven. Take it seriously.
With SRN News, I'm Jeremy House in Washington. The Supreme Court has rejected an appeal from former Trump attorney Michael Cohen, who was trying to hold Mr. Trump liable for his jailing that he said was retaliation for writing a tell-all memoir. The justices did not explain the reasoning in the brief routine order. Authorities in New Mexico rescued hundreds of people in the Roswell area after record rainfall produced severe flooding that stranded many in high water and left at least 2 people dead. Moldovans have voted by a razor-thin majority in favor of securing the country's path toward European Union membership. The ballot nearly caused a major setback for the pro-Western president. On Wall Street, the Dow is off 387 points. The Nasdaq is down 103. More details at srnews.com.
The socialists who want to move into the White House have a lot of plans for your money. One of them is to control the price of food, and this is just the start. Could 401ks and IRAs be next on their agenda? It might sound far-fetched, but so did price fixing just months ago. Hi, Donald Trump Jr. here. If you've spent decades building your nest egg, you can act now to stop your savings from falling into the hands of the socialists. It's why Americans are turning to gold, the ultimate safe haven in uncertain times. To see how easy it is to diversify your retirement with gold, get a free info kit from my friends at Birch Gold by texting the word prepare to 989898. Birch Gold makes it easy to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold while preserving your tax advantage status. Don't wait any longer. Protect your financial future now. Text prepare to the number 989898 for your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, tune in, or iHeart.
It's finally here. Fine Home Furnishings, Polaris Location's grand opening. Dive into a world of premier American-made furniture featuring the best brands and endless customization options. The grand opening event offers special deals and a chance to transform your home with furniture as unique as you are. Don't miss out. Come celebrate. Fine Home Furnishings, Polaris Parkway. Fine Home Furnishings, OH.com.
This is Hugh Hewitt, 80 million listeners. Depend on AM radio to always be on, delivering news, sports, talk, and weather reports you can trust. AM radio also delivers vital emergency information when you need it most. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to pass the AM for every vehicle act to keep AM radio in cars. And visit dependonam.com for more information.
Message and data rates may apply. You may text STOP to stop.
Your home is a big investment. If you live in a condominium or homeowners association, decisions by your board and community manager affect you. Is your board knowledgeable? Is your manager trained? Is your investment protected? CAI, Community Associations Institute, can give you the tools to protect your home and community. CAI is a nonprofit organization with resources for your board, community managers, and free information for homeowners like you. CAI at responsiblecommunities.com.
Even before your alarm clock goes off, he's already hit the ground, running, ready to tell you what's going on in the world you're waking up to. He's Hugh Hewitt, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on your station for news, opinion, and passion. 98.9 FM, The Answer.
If you're looking for new flooring, well, join the crowd because in the last week or so, I've dealt with Stacy and with Paul and with Chris. And I can't remember all the names. And I love meeting you. Oh, man, Mark. What an awesome visit I had with Mark on Saturday morning. Listen, if you need flooring, I can help you out. Now, I'll be at the store this afternoon, but you don't have to come to the store. You can just go to brucehooley.com and click on flooring in the upper right-hand corner of the page, and I'll reach out and help you. You need new carpet? Do you need luxury vinyl plank flooring? Oh, I'm scared of that word luxury. Can't afford that. No, it's just how they refer to it. It's the plank flooring that is now not just waterproof, but completely, well, it's no waterproof. It used to be water resistant. It really wasn't water resistant back in the early days of this product, but now it's waterproof. You can't scratch it either. It's indestructible. If you would like it in your home or investigate the possibility, go to brucehooley.com, click flooring, brucehooley.com, click flooring. By the way, if Sherrod Brown really wants everybody in Ohio to believe that he is not in favor of men playing women's sports, well, why doesn't he just do a commercial himself and come on camera and say, I'm not for this. I've supported it in the past. I will never vote for it again. Is he allowed to be in his own campaign commercials? Why does he have to put like bootlick surrogates from the Cleveland media on to say, fact check false? Why can't he just come on? Oh, why can't he come to the Talkers Tour tomorrow night, get up on stage? So, you know, I voted for this in the past, but I now know that America does not want this. The polls show 75% of Americans don't want it. Ohioans don't want it. I'm a man of the people. I always say I'm not afraid to go against my party. Why can't he do that? And the reason is, of course, because he doesn't want to do that, because he wants you to believe the lie. Now, yesterday, Donald Trump had a really, really good day in the news cycle, because Donald Trump went to work at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. The lines were out the door, and the people going through the drive-thru were amazed to find Donald Trump there. And this, of course, is an epic troll, because Kamala Harris has claimed to work at McDonald's. She has claimed to have worked at McDonald's. Now, I got to check my phone just for a second, because my wife is working today. I don't know if she's seen her texts or not, but she worked at McDonald's, and I wanted to know if she remembers the names of anybody who she worked at McDonald's with, because if so, which I suspect the answer to that would be yes, it would be easy to verify. If I wanted to verify, if I had a reason to say, I don't think you ever worked at McDonald's, hon. It doesn't seem like you. It doesn't fit with who you are. Actually, with my wife, it does fit who she is. But like, if Kamala Harris really worked at McDonald's, why do we not have anybody who worked at McDonald's with her saying, you know what, I remember Kamala. She was a sweet girl, good work ethic. Why do we not have those people? Of course, then again, we haven't heard from Kamala's dad either. He's a Marxist. He's alive. Unreachable. Media has no interest in talking to him. But Donald Trump worked the drive-thru line. He worked the French fry machine. And here is a snippet of a conversation that Donald Trump had with a woman who drove up and found President Trump handing her 2 bags of food.
A lot of fun here, everybody.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Look at all the fake news of it. Hello, everybody.
You can take this,
And
right?
you know this is compliments of Trump, okay?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. Mr. President,
Yes.
please don't let the United States become Brazil, my native Brazil.
We'll keep
Please,
it good.
please,
We're going to make it better than ever, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Mr. President.
Compliments of Trump.
Yes.
Have a good time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you over there.
Oh my God.
Have a good time.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see you. Bye, darling. Have a good time. Thank you.
Please don't let this country become Brazil, the lady said. And Trump's like, don't worry. We got it. Another guy drove up, and I want you to hear Trump's authentic response to this guy. There's no way you know in this situation what a person is going to say when they drive up. They might drive up and go, oh my goodness, I can't stand you. I hate you. I hate your policies. You're a terrible person. I hope you lose. You have no idea what the person's going to say. Even if they're a fan, you have no idea what they're going to say. So listen to this guy, what he says to Donald Trump, and what Donald Trump says without pausing for 1 second. Donald Trump responds in a way that tells you, I think, really more clearly than anything he could articulate on the campaign trail, the difference between himself and Kamala Harris in how they view the American people.
I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
Thank you.
Look at that. Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
You
made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so much.
You are not ordinary.
There it is right there. There it is right there. A guy walks up, he drives up in his vehicle. He's of Indian descent, it sounds to me like. You make it possible for ordinary people like us. And Trump goes, you're not ordinary. You're not ordinary. Listen one more time to this.
I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
Thank you.
Look at that. Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President. You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so much.
You are not ordinary. I can see.
We pray for you, and you are the type of person we want to be the president. Thank you so much.
So nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, I took a vote. That's right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
When you think about it, I guess that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking a bullet for us. We are praying for you. Thank you for making it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you. And Trump responds, you're not ordinary. You're not ordinary, which means that everyone matters to him. Do you think everybody matters to Kamala Harris? Of course not. Of course not. She's such an elitist snob. J.D. Vance this morning asked on Fox if there is an official campaign position on whether or not Kamala Harris actually ever worked at McDonald's.
I don't know if there's a campaign position on it. What I find, and I have spoken to Donald Trump about this, what we find weird about this is that Kamala Harris has been able to produce no evidence that she worked at McDonald's, and she didn't even talk about it until 2019 during, I believe, her first run for the United States Senate. So I don't know what's ultimately true here, but it's interesting where the media will try to nitpick and micromanage every single thing that me or Donald Trump has said, and yet they just buy into this narrative from Kamala Harris that she invented 5-6 years ago. Why don't they just do some journalism? Maybe it's true, maybe it isn't, but I know I don't trust the media's lack of curiosity about this issue when they're so curious and nitpicking everything else that the Republican candidates do.
100%. That's 100% true. You know it's true. Even the stinkiest Democrat knows that that is 100% true. Last night, after his stint at McDonald's, and the left's pushback on this, you can tell a lot about how effective a campaign appearance, okay, I'll even say campaign stunt, you can tell how effective it is by the attempt from the other side to mitigate the damage from it. Do you know what the Democratic response to Trump working at McDonald's is today? The way to kind of take the impact of it away is that they are claiming that this is a staged campaign event. Really, Sherlock? A staged campaign event? Do you mean to tell me that the Republican nominee for president, who has had 2 credible assassination attempts and a third foiled by the FBI before it could unfold from an Iranian agent, do you mean to tell me that that guy, 2 attempts on his life, the Republican nominee for president, can't just wander into a random McDonald's and say, hey, do you need help on the French fry line today? Do you think that maybe they might have had to make some pre-arrangements, given all his Secret Service protection and the crowd of people that follow him? Staged campaign appearance. Really? Really? Oh, you caught me. You caught me, Democrats. Sorry about that. And then Trump, after being at the McDonald's yesterday, last night he went to the Steelers game against the New York Jets. And of course, NBC's not going to show you this that happened when he walked into his skybox during commercial. That's not a good sign in Pittsburgh, swing state, where the entire stadium is chanting USA, USA. That can't make Kamala feel very good. By the way, how many times do they show Taylor Swift during an NFL game? 7, 8, 9, 10? How many times? How many times they showed Trump last night? I didn't watch the game in its entirety. I saw him on once watching the first half.
Sunshine, it'll be a warm afternoon. Our high today at 79. Clear tonight, low 47. Partly sunny, a warm day tomorrow, the high 81. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low 54. And then a mix of clouds and sun. Warm again on Wednesday, the high 77. A sunny, cooler day Thursday, the high at 62. Partly sunny Friday, high Friday afternoon at 73. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
I'm CPA Brad Hemper with Premier Tax CPAs, and the true value of using a CPA is getting guidance throughout the year, not just at tax time. During the year, we can actively advise you on your financial and tax planning and other major business decisions, just like an outside CFO. Too often, when you see your accountant only at tax time, we're really only keeping score of what you did last year. We'll prepare a comprehensive tax plan to maximize your deductions and minimize the tax you pay, and present you with money-saving options you may not have ever considered. We'll update your financial position each quarter, so there are no nasty surprises at tax time. At Premier Tax CPAs, we like to have consultations with our clients throughout the year because important financial information is only useful if it's timely. At Premier Tax CPAs, we're a firm that can work with you and your business throughout the year to help you make decisions before it's too late. Give us a call at Premier Tax CPAs at 614-524-4888. That's 614-524-4888.
Pain is no fun. It's also needless, or it could be. You won't know until you take advantage of the free consultation at QC Kinetics. Their clinics in Dublin and Gahanna, convenient no matter where you live in Central Ohio, offer you a free, listen, no obligation consultation so you can find out more about advanced regenerative therapy. Well, that sounds fancy, Bruce. Can you explain it? Yeah, I can. It's non-surgical, first of all. That's good. Second of all, takes advantage of your body's natural healing agents. Your blood has something in it called platelets. That's what causes your finger to heal when you cut it, or your ankle to heal when you sprain it. You don't always need surgery. You just need more platelets in the affected area. If you've been told you're bone on bone and the arthritis pain can't go away unless you take medicine or have surgery, you might not actually be in that situation. You won't know. So you consult with QC Kinetics. Free consultation, 380-208-4544, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
Who are the people that serve part-time in the Ohio Army National Guard? We are your neighbors, co-workers, and friends. We are your sons and daughters, your brothers and sisters. We are the people you see in your community every day. While we serve part-time, we're learning valuable life and job skills that we can use in our civilian careers. We get up to 100% of our tuition paid for at state colleges so we can have an even better future. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. Through every storm, every flood, every emergency that hits home here in Ohio, we are ready to respond and help our fellow Ohioans recover. We are every city, every small town, and every community. We are your Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with the Ohio Army National Guard at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Trish Regan provides the analysis you need each day on the Trish Regan podcast on the Salem Podcast Network.
They probably never should have picked Kamala Harris in the first place. Yeah, the Democrats made a little bit of an error on that one. You see, as I said all along, they should have actually had an open contest because she does not have strong enough numbers. She is not the kind of candidate that can actually get elected.
Subscribe to the Trish Regan podcast today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Battleground Talkers Tour. Okay, Bruce, I got my tickets. I'm tired of hearing about it. There's still a lot of people who need to be moved to attend the event tomorrow night, Genoa Christian Fellowship. It's not like we got an empty room. We got over 700 people committed to coming. That's more than we had the last time. So kudos to you, because the last time we had this event 2 years ago when J.D. Vance was running for Senate against Tim Ryan, we had 600 and some people in the room then on a Saturday night. Now we'll have 700 on a Tuesday night. If you've ever been to a 989 The Answer station event, you know that it is a party and you are among like-minded patriots. So we encourage you to go to 989theanswer.com and buy your tickets. That's why we've priced them at an easy get-in price of $5 general admission. Now, you can get a VIP ticket if you want, but you don't have to. It's great seats all throughout the building. It's a lovely, lovely venue. And it'll be Hugh Hewitt, Mike Gallagher, myself, our own Jack Windsor, Bernie Moreno, lots of state elected officials. Get your tickets tomorrow night. Starts at 7, Genoa Christian Fellowship, 989theanswer.com. We've talked a fair amount here on this show about Columbus City schools and the burgeoning dysfunction in them. Today we get, in the Columbus Dispatch, a story from Cole Behrens of the Columbus Dispatch about the completed performance review of Superintendent Angela Chapman. Now, I don't know Angela Chapman at all. I've never met her. I always think it's curious, though, when any entity, it's not just schools, but for instance, even like pro sports teams or even college sports teams. I always find it curious when the head coach leaves, or in a school situation, the superintendent leaves, or a CEO leaves a business, a big complicated business, and they elevate the person who was under them. And I know you can say, well, continuity, Bruce. Yes, I know, continuity. I get continuity. But I also get that people in those positions form relationships with people while they are serving as the, let's just say, second in command. And then when you ascend to the top, then the dynamic changes, and it's very difficult to pull that off sometimes. In fact, I have a policy back when I was doing sports radio where I would say, never hire the interim. Never. Never hire the interim. Get a fresh face from the outside. In the case of Columbus City Schools, they did hire the person second in command when they last had a superintendent change, and her name is Angela Chapman. And so they now have evaluated Angela Chapman. Now, let me say, I am also inherently skeptical of test scores being the perfect metric by which to measure a school administrator, because I don't think that the test scores are always a perfect metric by which to measure a superintendent's performance. For instance, in the case of Angela Chapman, she inherited a dumpster fire. And you need to give her some time to put the dumpster fire out in terms of math scores and English scores. And it appears that the way the board grades her, they have made the case that she has improved the district's reading scores. Okay, great. That's fantastic. But what I find problematic are two things. Number one, they don't disclose how each individual board member voted. In fact, there is a board member among the 7 on the Columbus Board of Education who gave Angela Chapman zeros across the board. Zeros in every category. Now, is it possible they have a board member who's just an axe grinder, doesn't like Angela Chapman, had a favorite candidate? Yeah, it's possible. But if you're going to run for public office and you're going to shape education policy to almost 50,000 students in the city of Columbus, I think as a board member, you should have the courage to stand behind your evaluation. It's easy to throw shots when you're protected by the cloak of anonymity. I don't think this is fair to Angela Chapman. Wow, Bruce, it sounded like you were being fair to a Columbus City Schools employee. Yes, that's not fair to her. But this is just another greater demonstration of the fact that they always promise you transparency on the Columbus Board of Education, and then they're not telling you who gave her zeros. The person who gave her zeros should have to own that. I gave her 0 here because of this. I gave her 0 here because of this. So this, by the way, further demonstrates the dysfunction of the board, which is taping secret phone calls with each other and promising you transparency and not giving you any answers, and meeting to close school buildings and then say, let's go hire a guy from Austin because the process is just starting. So how did Angela Chapman come out in these tests? Well, even if you take out the scores from the board member who gave her zeros in every category, her overall rating on a 4-point scale, if you took out all the zeros, her rating was 2.28, which they say shows she is developing as a superintendent. Not skilled, that's the level above that. I don't know what the level above that would be. I suppose, perfect or exemplary. So even if you take the zeros out from the one board member, she's only at 2.28, which still falls under developing, which goes back to my original point, which is this is why you don't hire the interim. This is why you don't hire the person who's in the second spot when the person in charge leaves. You go out and you find somebody for a big district like Columbus, where they're awash in cash and the crazy electorate never seems to run out of being willing to give them their tax dollars. You go out and hire somebody who's done it, and if you have to, pay them a king's ransom to come in here and fix this mess. I don't blame people when they are charged with doing something that they are not capable of doing. We don't know yet. if Angela Chapman is really capable of getting this done. Her efforts are not helped at all by a completely ineffective Board of Education. But, of course, let's not ignore the elephant in the room. She had the two most important qualifications they wanted in a superintendent. She's black and she's a woman. That's what they wanted. Doesn't mean she can't do the job. I'm just saying. She was second in command, no track record. They hired her. Now, even if you take the zeros out, she's developing. And by the way, they didn't give any math scores this year, so we don't know how the kids are doing on the math scores. Okay, so that's my take on the evaluation of Angela Chapman. I'm not at all conflicted in what should happen to whoever is responsible for the death of a 73-year-old Pickaway County woman, mauled to death by two pit bulls on Thursday. And one of the pit bulls killed another neighborhood dog. Whoever owns these dogs should be in prison for at least 15 years. These dogs have been a menace in this neighborhood, according to all the reporting that I have read. There is another woman who is lucky to be alive. She had two dogs out on a walk when one of these pit bulls who killed this poor, unfortunate 73-year-old woman attacked one of the two dogs that was with this other woman. She had to unleash, basically sacrifice the life of one dog so she and her other dog could get away. No charges have been filed in this as of yet. Whoever owns these pit bulls, which killed another dog the year before and which has terrorized this neighborhood before, whoever owns these dogs should be in prison for 15 years. They are an accessory to murder. They have been on notice about these dogs, and I would support any legislation. Here come the animal cretins. And by the way, I own two dogs, a horse, chickens, two cats. So we don't hate animals at the Hooley household. But we have a dog who's aggressive out of fear issues, and we never, not one time in this dog's life, has it ever been outside on a walk to go to the bathroom, in transit to the barn, or anywhere else. Has it ever been off a leash? Ever. Because we know that it has the capacity to endanger other people. We got it to endanger anybody who'd even think about breaking into our house. But you have to control your animals, and you know if you have an aggressive animal that it is incumbent upon you to control your animals so that something like this doesn't happen. My heart aches for this 73-year-old woman's family.
Have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS? This is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion.
That will do it for hour number one of the Bruce Hooley Show. You can stream hour number two on the 9890 Answer Facebook page or the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page. I may post video clips from hour number two later on today, although I got a really busy day. And in hour number two, we're going to start talking about the decline in the birth rate in the state of Ohio and what it says about our culture and about the mindset of people who are of childbearing years. So that's at the top of hour number two. You can wait for the clip later, or you can watch it live. Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page or 9890answer.com Facebook page.